Hi, everybody. How are you doing? If you're new here, I highly recommend you hit that subscribe button and the bell down below to not miss a single one of our new lessons. And don't forget, if you like this lesson, please show us some support by hitting that like button. Also, take your fluency to the next level with our lessons.
Lesson 26. Everyday situations. Mr. Priestley and all his students. Mr. Priestley, I think we could now practice some situations. You know the kind of thing I mean, the sort of situation you might find yourself in any time, doing some shopping, asking for a room at a hotel, paying a visit to the doctor or dentist. There are dozens of them. But you know all the usual English tenses. You know many of the structures and you have quite a good vocabulary, so I want two of you to act a situation and provide the conversation. If you are in difficulties I will help. Now let us suppose, Frida, that you are doing some shopping. What shop do you want to go to? Frida, I think, the grocer's. Mr. Priestley, very well. Jan, you can be the grocer, and here, Jan, is your customer. Grocer, good morning, madam. What can I get for you? Frida, I want a pound of Danish butter. Grocer, yes, madam. Anything else? Frida, how much a pound is bacon? Grocer, we have it at 3/3/6 and 3/8 a pound. Frida, is this the 3 and 8 penny? Grocer, yes, madam. That is the best quality Irish bacon. Frida, it looks rather fat, we like it lean. Grocer, here is a nice lean piece. Shall I cut you some from this piece? Frida, yes, that looks very good. It isn't salty, is it? Grocer, no, madam, you will not find this salty at all. Frida, very well. I'll take 1.5 pounds, cut thin. Grocer, thank you. Anything more? Frida, I want 1/4 pound of Indian tea and 1/4 pound of China tea. Grocer, certainly, madam. Any coffee today? We have some very good, freshly roasted coffee beans. Frida, is the coffee already ground? I haven't a coffee mill to grind it. Grocer, no, madam, it isn't ground. I can grind it for you while you wait, then the coffee will keep its flavor. Frida, how much is it? Grocer, it's 7/3 a pound. Frida, that's very dear, isn't it? Grocer, the price keeps going up, madam, I'm sorry but we can't do anything about it. They say there has been a failure of the coffee crop in Krombongo. Frida, I hadn't heard of that. Well, I'll take 1/2 pound of coffee. That's all. Now how much is that, please? Grocer, writing out the bill. Butter 4/0. Bacon 5/6. Tea 5/10,5. Coffee 3/7,5. 17/0. That will be exactly 17 shillings, please. Will you kindly pay at the desk? Good morning, madam, and thank you. Mr. Priestley, yes, that was good. Hob, instead of shopping, can I tell stories about the shops or situations? Mr. Priestley, all right, Hob. Hob, well, here is one about a grocer's. A small boy went into a grocer's shop and said, I want 1 pound of butter exactly like the last. If it is not the same, mother said, we don't want it. Grocer, it is very nice to find people have such a good opinion of my butter. Small boy, oh, it's not that. A lot of father's relations are coming to tea, and mother doesn't want them to come again. Mr. Priestley, now, Olaf, I think we will send you to the doctors. I am sure no one here has less need of a doctor than you have, so this conversation will need some imagination. Pedro, you had better be the doctor. Olaf has just entered your consulting room. Doctor, good evening, Mr. Peterson. What's the trouble? You certainly don't look as if there is anything wrong with you. Olaf, I haven't been feeling very well for some time. I have lost my appetite and I don't sleep very well. I have rather a bad cough that I can't get rid of, and a pain in my chest, sometimes, when I breathe. Doctor, I see. Very well. You had better have a thorough examination. Let me see your tongue. Yes, your stomach is a little out of order. Now your pulse. Yes, that's all right. Now just unfasten your coat and waistcoat and shirt and I'll listen to your heart and chest. Say 99. Olaf, 99. Doctor, again. Olaf, 99, 99. Doctor, do you smoke a lot? Olaf, well, rather a lot, I'm afraid, 20 or 30 cigarettes a day. Doctor, you ought to cut that down for a time. Let me see your throat. Open your mouth. Say ah. Olaf, ah. Ah. Doctor, again. Olaf, ah. 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 Doctor, all right, that will do. You can put your coat on again now. What do you weigh? Olaf, 12 stone, 2. Doctor, have you been losing weight at all? Olaf, no, I don't lose or gain, at least never more than a pound or so one way or another. Doctor, well, there's nothing serious the matter with you, but you are rather run down. You have been working too hard. You know you can't burn the candle at both ends, and you need a real rest. I'll give you a bottle of medicine that will help. Take a tablespoonful in water 3 times a day after meals. Eat plenty of good plain food, have no cigarettes and drink plenty of milk, at least a pint a day, and not much coffee, get plenty of fresh air and plenty of sleep, but, above all, don't try to do too much. A real change of air and surroundings would be very helpful if you could manage it. Olaf, as a matter of fact, I have been invited to go and stay with some friends in their cottage in Cornwall. Doctor, that's just the thing, but remember, take it easy. Not too much swimming or tennis, at least for a week or 2, but a good walk by the sea or along the cliffs every day would do you a world of good. I will see you again when you come back, just to make sure you are all right. Don't worry about yourself. If that holiday in Cornwall doesn't work wonders, I shall be very much surprised. Another month and you'll be as fit as a fiddle. Good evening. Mr. Priestley, well, Olaf, you did that so well that I almost began to think you were ill. And if you were ill, I think a doctor like Pedro is just the man to cure you. Pedro and Olaf, thank you, sir. Mr. Priestley, well, Hob, you said you could tell a story for each of the situations. I don't suppose you know one about a doctor. Hob, oh, yes, I do. It's about a very simple country woman who went to the doctor to tell him that her husband had a very severe headache. The doctor said, I have so many patients coming to see me that I can't see your husband today. But do this, put some ice in a bag, tie it round his head and let me know how he is tomorrow. The next day the woman came again and the doctor said, well, how is your husband? Oh, she said, he's quite all right now, the headache has completely gone, but the mice are all dead. She had mistaken some ice for some mice. Mr. Priestley, I don't think a doctor prescribes for a person without seeing him. However, it's a good story. Hob, I've never been to a doctor in my life, but if the advice they give is to eat a lot, not work hard, and go away for a holiday, which is what the doctor seems to have told Olaf, I think I'll see one tomorrow. But I once went to the dentist. May I tell you about that? Mr. Priestley, by all means. I think it is an excellent idea. Hob, I had toothache for several days, but just hadn't enough courage to go to the dentist. As a matter of fact, I went twice, but just as I got on his doorstep and was going to ring the bell, the toothache seemed to have gone away, so I went home again. But at last I had to go back, and this time I rang the bell and was shown into the waiting room. There were a number of magazines there, and I had just got into the middle of an exciting story when the maid came in to say Mr. Puller was ready to see me. I'll have to wait for the next toothache to finish that story. Well, I went into the surgery and he told me to sit in a chair that he could move up and down, backwards and forwards, and then he had a look at the inside of my mouth. He put a little mirror on a long handle inside my mouth and poked about for a while, then he looked serious and said, "Yes, I'm afraid we can't save that one, it will have to come out. It won't be necessary to give you gas for that. I'll just give you an injection." So he filled with a syringe with a liquid. I felt a little prick on the gum and that was all. He did this in 2 or 3 places and waited for a minute or so. My mouth felt rather dead, but otherwise it was all right. Then he took an instrument, got hold of my tooth, gave a twist. I could see and hear what he did, but I couldn't feel anything, then a quick pull, and the tooth was out and he was saying, "Yes, it's all over. Spit in there and then wash your mouth out with this." And he handed me a glass. There's the tooth, a very nasty one. He was just going to throw it away, but I said, "May I have that tooth, please?" "You can certainly have it if you want it," he said. "Well," I replied, "it has worried me a good deal for the last week, and so now I am going to put it on my dressing table and watch it ache." "Mr. Priestley, well done, Hob, you described that well. Hob, but I must tell you about a friend of mine who went to a dentist, not a very good one, to have a tooth filled. The dentist got him in the chair and started drilling away at the tooth, it was one right at the back of his mouth. He went on and on for what seemed like hours. Then he stopped for a minute or two and said, 'Haven't you had this tooth filled before?' 'No,' said my friend, and again the drilling went on. About another hour went by, at least it seemed like an hour, and again the dentist said, 'Are you sure you haven't had this tooth filled? I've got a speck or two of gold on the drill.' 'No,' said my friend, 'that's not from my tooth, it must be from my back collar stud.'" Words and expressions connected with doctors and illness. Mr. Priestley, the ordinary doctor, sometimes called a GP, i.e., general practitioner, is sometimes a physician or a surgeon, i.e. able to perform operations, and quite often he is both physician and surgeon. But if the illness is serious, or the operation a big one, he will advise you to get a specialist. You will go to the specialist. In London almost all of them have their consulting rooms in or near Harley Street, or he will come to you, and if you have to have an operation he will advise you to go to a hospital or a nursing home where they have all the necessary equipment. If your teeth need attention, stopping, filling, or extracting, or if you need false teeth, dentures, then you go to the dentist. If your eyes need attention, you go to an oculist, who will examine them, test your sight to see whether you are suffering from short sight or long sight, and will write out a prescription, which you take to an optician, who will then make the necessary glasses for you. All this you get under the National Health Service. The common illnesses are a cough, a cold, influenza, the flu, sore throat. Children often get measles, including German measles, mumps, scarlet fever, and whooping cough. You can generally know that a child is not well if it has a temperature, i.e., is above the normal 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Older people suffer from indigestion, rheumatism, heart troubles, and blood pressure. Some diseases are infectious or contagious, and great care must be taken by people who have these illnesses, so that they don't pass them on to other people. You may have toothache, earache, headache. Hob, and when I was a boy and ate a lot of green apples I had stomach ache. Mr. Priestley, all these give you pain. Then you may get a burn, a scald, or a wound, you may get blood poisoning, or break a bone. Some of the commonest things used to prevent or cure illnesses are medicine, pills, powders, ointment, sleeping draughts, injections, bandages, massage, disinfectants, antiseptics, tablets. Pedro, it isn't very cheerful, is it, to see this list of things you might have? I like the English saying, it's easy to put into practice. 2. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Hob, and a raw onion a day keeps everyone else away. Exercises. Exercise 1. Use each of the following words in sentences. Practice, flavor, serious. Situation, crop, worry. Dentist, appetite, cure. Quality, cough, patient, noun. Lean, pain, bag. Salt, tongue, liquid. Roast, throat, instrument. Grind, weigh, spec. Exercise 2. Put question phrases after each of the following. Question phrases are dealt with in Book 1, Lesson 30 and 32. 1. You know what I mean? 2. You don't need any help? 3. You are Mr. Brown? 4. He is Mr. Smith? 5. You have met Mr. Priestley? 6. You haven't met Mr. Priestley? 7. You met Mr. Priestley in Paris? 8. You didn't meet Mr. Priestley in Paris? 9. You were in Mr. Priestley's class? 10. You weren't in Mr. Priestley's class? 11. You haven't been in Mr. Priestley's class? 12. This is Danish butter? 13. You haven't any Australian butter? 14. This coffee was ground today? 15. This coffee wasn't ground last week? 16. This coffee will be good? 17. This bacon won't be salty? 18. You gave me the bill? 19. You have given me the bill? 20. I had better see a doctor. Exercise 3. Write questions to which these are the answers. The important word, or words, in the answer is in italics. NOS 1, 2, and 3 are done for you as examples. 1. I bought some bacon and some butter. Question, what did you buy? 2. Frida is going to buy some coffee. Question, what is Frida going to do? 3. Pedro will be the doctor. Question, who will be the doctor? 4. No, madam, this bacon isn't salty at all. 5. I want some Danish butter. 6. No, I want Danish butter. 7. The price has gone up because of the failure of the coffee crop. 8. It is 7s. 3d a pound. 9. You pay at the desk. 10. Yes, Hob, you may tell us the story. 11. No, I don't sleep very well. 12. The pain is in my chest. 13. I get it when I breathe. 14. Yes, I smoke rather a lot. 15. No, I haven't lost weight. 16. I am going to Cornwall. 17. I'm going with Jan. 18. My husband is much better. 19. Yes, you may certainly have the tooth if you want it. 20. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Exercise 5. Give 5 words or expressions connected with doctors, 5 connected with dentists, the names of 5 illnesses, 5 things to cure illnesses. Dictation. Hob sat in the doctor's waiting room. On the chairs round the wall other patients were sitting. Some had coughs, some had colds and some had headaches. They all looked sad, except Hob, who was reading an exciting story in a magazine. Just then the doctor came in to say he was ready to see the next person. Hob got up and went into the consulting room. Before Hob could say a word the doctor said, "Now what's your trouble? Lie down there. We'll soon cure you. Unfasten your coat and shirt. I'll listen to your heart." But, Hob started to speak. "Say 99, ordered the doctor. Hob said it. "Now let me see your throat. Open your mouth." The doctor had a good look and then he said, Well, young man, you are not ill at all. There's nothing wrong with you. I know there's not, said Hob. I just came to get a bottle of medicine for Uncle Tom. Composition exercises. 1. Tell, or write, the stories of A. The boy who went to buy butter. B. The man who had the headache. C. The man whose tooth was drilled. 2. Describe A. Frida's visit to the grocer's. B. Olaf's visit to the doctor. C. Hob's visit to the dentist.
Dear friends, thank you very much for your support, for watching and for liking. I wish you success in learning English. Subscribe to our channel, and good luck.